I'm pleased to have on the line with me Chauncey DeVega. He is a political essayist and commentator. He's a contributor at Salon.com and Alternet. Chauncey DeVega, DEVEGA.com is his website. And Chauncey, welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great to have you with us. We've got kind of two stories right now, and you know, let me know if I'm missing something, and I probably am. That I think are very timely as of this moment, that tomorrow, the day when everybody's traveling for Thanksgiving and probably the day that nobody's watching the news, Chicago says they're going to release the video on the murder of Jamar Clark, and that is going to represent some issues. And then these 5 Black Matters protesters who were shot by white supremacists. In fact, we've got a couple of minutes of video of these guys driving to the. It was a couple days earlier, but it may well be the same guys. We don't know. Driving to the rally, talking about how they were going to, cause some problems, shall we say? I'm just curious your thoughts on, why now, why this, and how this interacts. You wrote a great piece for Alternet the other day about how all of this kind of interacts or interfaces with the rhetoric on the Republican side, the over-the-top rhetoric that's happening, particularly coming from Mr. Trump.
I mean, number one, Black Lives Matter is a statement about the value of all human life, and that we need to acknowledge the particular and unique ways that African Americans are subjected to police thuggery and white racial violence, both institutional and interpersonal in this country. So the fact that you'd actually have white supremacists showing up to shoot Black Lives Matter protesters, I mean, can you have any more proof of their thesis?
Yeah.
And the issues, I'm actually here in Chicago, I'm following this very closely. As you said, releasing the video the day before Thanksgiving, that's just basically an effort, and it will fail to suppress this information. Again, another example, on video, once again, apparently the video is horrific, of out-of-control police who are violating the civil and human rights of African Americans. And then when you think about the Fox News component, and you and I talked about this actually last night on your great TV show, is thinking about how Fox News weaponizes its followers. They use violent rhetoric and lie. They have said that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization, just like they've described student protesters who are fighting racism as anarchists and terrorists. Bill O'Reilly actually said Black Lives Matter was a version of the KKK. Now, when you use that sort of rhetoric, it's an incitement to violence. And again, as I wrote in my Salon piece, when you repeatedly light a match in a room full of gasoline vapor, you're going to have an explosion. But you know what they're going to do, as is the habit of the right-wing media? When the actions happen, they're either going to deny it, ignore it, or make up fictions, like the Black Lives Matter folks actually had themselves shot up, that it was staged, or the liberal media is twisting the story. We know their old routine.
Yeah, I saw a lot of this back in the late 60s, early 70s, too. Where the police would go in and kill people. Particularly in Philadelphia, they burned out that row house.
Bombing.
Yeah, it's pretty grim stuff. Let me play for you this clip. This is a couple of white guys wearing masks doing a selfie. We found this over at the Minneapolis Black Lives Matter site, wasn't a Facebook page, and they're pointing to a data bin, and we can't confirm the authenticity of this, but apparently that we also have a long email chain that goes along with this. It's also over at that website about all these different white guys talking about getting together and stirring things up, and the language in here is unusable. We've beeped a couple of things in here, but just for 1 minute, just listen to this. I'd just like to get your take on this, Chauncey.
This will be Saiga's first recon mission in a little while.
This is Saiga Marine. This is Black Powder Ranger. We're going to go see what the Dindus are up to.
AKA apparently Bosnian terrorists. I didn't even see what I look like. Jesus Christ, dude.
And yes, we are locked and loaded.
You have a gun?
Why do you hate freedom?
Because I don't know.
Alright, check it out, you guys. We're going to be driving down there. It's going to take us about 10 minutes to get down there. We're going to take a little while and shut the camera off in a little bit. We just want to give everyone a heads up on pull. We're on our way. We're going to knock this out. And we're going to go see what these Dindus are dindoing about. Because apparently fighting police and fighting paramedics is good enough to let you off with a slap on the wrist, especially when you go for an officer's weapon. So, yeah, a little reverse cultural enriching. So we're going to make the fire rise, the fire rises.
Well, basically what he's saying is we're just going to go have ourselves a little look-see. A
little look-see.
See what we can see.
Going on. I read on poll that some little lolly is in trouble and needs our help. Something about search and rescue, so we're going to go knock that out.
Search and recover, actually, I think it's termed. I don't know.
But anyways, you guys, keep on watching the stream. We're going to get on the freeway here in a few minutes, and we'll be there in no time. We'll catch you all later. Stay white.
Right, Jesus. In part, I'm playing that. We played that as video for the people watching on video, and in the event that anybody can recognize these guys. But also, a lot of slang in there that is, didn't do. If I didn't do nothing. There's the, you get that. And, these slurs. Why are we not calling these people terrorists?
Well, because they're white and they're men. In America, we don't call white men who commit mass shootings. We psychologize the problem. When we have an increase in white right-wing domestic terrorism that's so bad, the FBI says that the number one threat to U.S. security, what happens to Republicans and Fox News howl and scream? And listening to that clip for the folks online and elsewhere who may be able to watch it, there's a lot going on there. So besides the horrible Power Rangers and Batman references, I'm offended as a fan of Batman and the Power Rangers. Right?
There you go.
You got to make light of of barbarism sometimes, gallows humor. There's a lot going on there with sort of the double-speaking code that white supremacists deploy online. And they're also making references to online websites as well. So, open little secret, there's something called cyber racism. It's a very little understood phenomena by the general public. There are a lot of great scholars. Jesse Daniels at Racism Review has a great book about it, by the way, folks should check out, where white supremacists are using online spaces, of course, comment sections, but they've developed their own code. So if you go on YouTube, for example, they have specific abbreviations they use to mark videos for their followers. If you go to something called the deep or the black or the dark internet, which is the real internet, by the way, that's the internet that the real internet rides on top of, you'll see where folks are really organizing this type of violence. And none of this is surprising for folks who have followed cyber racism or white supremacy.
The Klan's been doing it for a couple hundred years.
Yeah, so it's really, as I said, the general public really needs to catch up on this, and the mainstream corporate media, of course, will not discuss it.
Yeah, which is the astonishing thing. If these guys had been Muslims, this would be wall-to-wall for the next 3 days on all the networks. But,
on one hand, as we said, it's not new. But again, we have the script so we understand it. But again, the recipe is white, conservative, and violent. They're outliers. Black or brown or quote-unquote Muslim or Arab, it's 24/7.
Yeah. How do we change that? We're just about out of time here, Chauncey. How do we change that narrative?
Again, I think great shows like yourself. I think independent media. I think that individuals, responsible, conscious folks who believe in a real we the people democracy need to get educated. And there is a lot of wonderful activism out there, but again, the mainstream corporate media isn't covering it. We have Black Lives Matter. Occupy Wall Street didn't go away. They're involved in something wonderful called Jubilee, where they're paying off people's debts.
Right.
We have a lot of local activism. People are standing up against power, but the problem is there's so much learned helplessness out there that people quite literally are exhausted, tired, distracted, and worried and don't know what to do, even though they know something is horribly wrong with this country's politics.
Yeah, very well said. Chauncey DeVega, political essayist and commentator, contributor at Salon and Alternet, the website chaunceydevega.com, DEVEGA. Chauncey, thanks for dropping by today.
Thank you for having me.
Great talking with you. We'll be right back. To watch more clips from our programs, hit the Watch More Videos button over here. And please be sure to hit the handy-dandy subscribe button so you'll always be up to date. Tag, you're it.